Hello, my name is Andrea Parent, and welcome to IB World Religions. This is a one-year SL or standard level course. This is an elective. It is not able to replace any of your other required social studies classes, unfortunately, but if you're interested in the content, you're going to have a great time in here. So, in our course, instead of being a comparative religions class, IB is all about depth and not breadth. So we don't do a wide variety of religions. We do 5 religions throughout the whole year. So that leaves us with many weeks of studying just one faith and really getting in depth with it. So we start with Judaism, then move into Hinduism, Taoism. Then the second half of the year, our in-depth religions are Islam and Sikhism. And so how we structure the class is around fundamental questions. The first one, what is the human condition? Everyone's always like, what does that mean? It's basically, who are we? What's our interpretation of the universe and our place in it? The next one gets a little deeper with, where are we going? This big one is all about what happens after we die and what our ultimate goal is. Third is, how do we get there? Basically, how do you live your life in order to achieve that ultimate goal? What do you do day to day to live in that? And so those are the basic fundamental questions that we cover throughout the unit, getting a little deeper as the unit goes on. Now, we follow around themes and key questions in each faith. We look at rituals and what their purpose are. What's the rite of passage? How do they worship? What are some festivals or holidays that are important to them, and how do they celebrate? We also look at sacred texts. We'll read excerpts from different sacred texts, and the idea is, where does it come from? Who can interpret it? What does it mean? How does it teach us about the faith? We also look at doctrines and beliefs. Doctrines are kind of the official beliefs of the faith, and we look at what the organizational structure is. What are the link between those doctrines and the rituals that we've talked about? What role does art and architecture play in each of these faiths? Fourth will be religious experience. This is going to be different for everyone. What's the role of women in religion? Is it similar for male, female? What happens? Can you convert? What's the impact of music, singing? The group experience versus individual experience. So religious experience plays a big role in what we look at. And then finally, ethics and moral conduct. The idea, what are the ethical teachings? What happens if you have any kind of transgressions? Are there punishments? How are you rewarded? What are the religious and secular laws? What's the role of human rights? So these are kind of the key themes and questions that we look at throughout the year. One of my favorite parts of this course, and probably most students' favorite parts, is the speakers that we have throughout the years. For Judaism, Rabbi Holtzman has been a mainstay for me coming in to talk about Judaism. He's one local rabbi at the Northern Virginia Hebrew Congregation. He's fantastic. In Hinduism, I've had a variety of speakers. One of the ones I've had the most is Dr. Sudha Bhatt. All of them have come from the Chinmaya mission, which really works hard at teaching about Hinduism and kind of improving community relations. For Taoism, I've had Master Reza Momiman, and he's wonderful. I haven't had him recently, but I'm trying to get him back again. He did a wonderful job teaching about the history of Taoism, a little bit of the history of Taoism and how it relates to Tai Chi, which is really cool. For Islam, I've had a wide variety of speakers, so always somebody different, but they have all been absolutely fantastic. And my anchor of this class for Sikhism is Guru Sangat Kaur Khalsa. She is absolutely fantastic. She's come every year, even through Zoom during COVID. She's absolutely wonderful in teaching us the key aspects of Sikhism. As far as grading goes, we have assessments and content practice, just like some other courses, broken down into 70 and 30. So tests, vocab quizzes, essays. While it's an elective, it's still an academic elective. So we do still have assessments. The internal assessment, that all falls under the assessment category. And then kind of our practice, day-to-day, daily work is our classwork and homework. Most of the time, our work is done in class. I know that's really usually a big question. I try to make most of our work done in class because everyone's at different speeds of reading and comprehension. Some people really get in depth. Some people just take a little bit longer to comprehend what we're talking about. We always go over everything. And so one of the key things that I really try and do is make it accessible for all students. So I have students in there that are full diploma. I have students that have never taken an honors class. As long as you're interested in the content, this is a course for you. You will be successful. Next is one of our key big components of the course is the internal assessment. This is basically a research paper that you'll do throughout the year. We break it up into segments. The cool part is it's not just scholarly research. You also interview what we call people of authority. So a priest, a rabbi, a monk, an imam, whoever you got. And so it's really cool that you do that. And then you also interview people of that faith. So this is one of my favorite components and one of the components that most students are very successful with. Some examples of IA questions, you get very specific. We're not looking to be very general here. You got to find a very specific question about a particular branch. So some of the questions we've had over the years, we've had such a wide variety. Students get to choose whatever they want. They do not have to choose one of the 5 religions that we cover. So if you're disappointed that Christianity or Buddhism or Jainism wasn't included, that's okay. You can use it for your IA and learn more about it there. So for example, to what extent do sacred sounds enhance the religious experience of Buddhists? How do American Muslims feel about the LGBTQ plus community? So we do sometimes do social issues, not just religious topics, and within the faiths. To what extent do Wicca empower women? What's the significance of the avoidance of eating beef in Hinduism? To what extent do conservative Jews keep kosher? So the students get to really get in depth into one particular topic and get a variety of sources, from what you're supposed to do in a religion all the way to what do people actually do day to day in their life, which is really cool. It's one of my favorite parts. And this will be 25% of the IB. Oops, there we go. And then we also have an external assessment. There is an IB exam at the end of the year in May. And there's 2 tests, paper 1, paper 2. Most of our tests that we do throughout the year will help with paper 1. These are response questions based on excerpts from the sacred text. Paper 2 are essays. These will be on Sikhism and Islam. Those are our in-depth religions. So paper 2 is only about the in-depth religions we do. So it's kind of nice. You can really focus your content and your studying. And so that's what I've got. If you have any questions, please feel free to come by. My classroom is room 219, or you can email me at aparent@fcps.edu. You can also find me on our South Lakes website. I'm also the department chair, so it's pretty easy to find me. Thank you so much. Have a great day.